something I wanted to share with you real quick. Currently, it started, and they're taking a timeout till 2 o'clock when the other two teams will meet. The College Station Regional is having their media day. You had USC and Texas A&M, and we do know the Friday starter for Lamar for Texas A&M, Shane Sadeo. Shane Sadeo will get the start tomorrow. A&M Lamar. Shane Sadeo will get the start for the Aggies. I want to go now to the D4 Land Services hotline, and we're heading out to Destin, Florida, the home of the SEC meetings, where we are going to check in and visit for the last time, for now anyway, with Cedric Golden of the Austin-American Statesman. Cedric, how's your world, dude? How's Florida treating you?
Man, it's on the uptick, Lou. This is my last day here, but the first day it was raining cats and dogs when we came in, and there was a tornado watch. But the last 2 days have been pretty nice. It's looking like Florida now.
Now it's looking like Florida. So how much beach time? I know you go out there, you're on the beach, you got Mai Tais, you're eating Cuban food. I mean, that's the life in Destin, isn't it?
Not for me, Lou. I don't frolic, man. I'm one of those people that I admire the beautiful white sandy beaches from afar, but I don't want that in between my toes. That gives me the ick. So I'm not a big beach guy, but I love the scenery. It's very beautiful here. The hotel where they have it, the Hilton Sandestin, is right on the beach. So it's really cool. It's very scenic, but it's beautiful for my eyes. But I'm not getting anywhere near that water. Lou, I get nervous in the shower. I can't swim.
Fair enough, man. Are you in Olin? Are you there for the shrimp cocktail? Because we had Olin, Tuesday from right there in Destin. And according to Olin, he's there for, the shrimp cocktail. And I forget the other thing was. So it's the shrimp cocktail for you too?
The grouper. He loves grouper. And we've had 3 meals with the great Olin Buchanan and the legendary Kirk Bowles. So
I'm sorry.
We got the band back together, and we've been hitting some of the spots, Bayou Billy's and Castaways. There's a couple of other spots. Hit a nice breakfast this morning at this biscuit place. I never had a bad meal here, man. The food here is just wonderful, and I can see why people would want to live out here.
It's not a hard sell. Cedric, a couple of things I want to talk to you about. One, tomorrow, Austin Regional kicks up. Longhorns, A, 6 seed, yes or no? B, they get UC Santa Barbara, MLB pitcher, starter for them. Texas State, Holy Cross are the other teams there. Texas State, is that right?
That's right.
All right.
No, that's not right.
That's not right. I'm just looking at what I have printed out here. I'm like, they don't have Texas State. They're here in the College Station Regional.
Yeah, it's Tarleton State.
Yeah. I know that's wrong as soon as I said it, but that's never mind. You know how it is.
Not the roughest regional, but I know Texas is probably going to sit their starter, Dylan Valantis. They're going to go with Luke Harrison and against the Holy Cross Crusaders, break up the Crusaders with 4 straight wins to win the Patriot League, 25-28, Lou. Only 4 teams in the bracket have under 500 records, and Texas gets to play one. So I expect they'll start Luke Harrison, who's been their number 2 or number 3 all year. And if they got to win 14-8, they just want to survive and save Valantis for that big matchup against Jackson Flora, who you mentioned, the big 6'5", 205-pound right-hander with a 1.05 ERA, Lou. Opponents are hitting a $161 off of him. He's 11-0, 2 complete games, and he's the number 1 ranked right-hander in all of college baseball when it comes to the MLB draft. So that's going to be one to watch. That's going to be a great semifinal.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. USC, Santa Barbara is scary because of him, but it's kind of like after him, are you still scared of UC Santa Barbara in your regional?
Probably not, but the problem is getting him out of the game, and no one's been able to do that hardly. So he hasn't been beaten this year, and Texas has had its droughts. We saw the A&M series. There are times when those right-handed bats aren't clicking. So if he catches Texas on a bad day, they could be in trouble. I'll tell you this, if they lost at home to UT San Antonio last year, which didn't have an MLB prospect, then they're definitely and they could definitely lose to UC Santa Barbara with a guy that looks like Roger Clemens.
Fair. Now, 6 seed for the Longhorns. Too high, too low, just right.
I think it's just right. They played pretty even baseball for the most part. They had those little times when they couldn't hit the ball, and those are the losses that kind of pushed them from the top 3 or 4 into that 6th hole. It's a good spot for them. It'll be interesting to see if they can survive this bracket and see if they can handle an Oregon team that I think is coming out of that bracket pretty easily.
We'll stay on the diamond. Longhorn Softball College World Series back for the 3rd straight time, defending national champs. Handicap them in OKC.
When I was first starting to cover them, they had Cat Osterman, but they didn't have any offense. But now they have good pitching and they have great offense. Tegan Kavan is still their number 1 pitcher, but she had her ups and downs in that super regional. Sid Lawley Gutierrez is a good number 2. The thing that separates this team from past teams and even last year is I think they're deeper offensively. Katie Stewart is the SEC Player of the Year. She had 27 bombs. Reese Atwood was last season's first-team All-American. She's got 19 bombs. So they got a lot of pop at the top of that lineup, and I think that Mike White is pushing all the right buttons, and they're playing great. They're healthy. That's always important, and they're not reliant on just one player. So I expect that to be a great matchup with Tennessee, with Carly, their number 1 pitcher, who's got she's 15-7, but the ERA is minuscule. I think the team that wins that is the odds-on favorite to go to the final.
Easy. I'm with you on that one. And the Arizona State Super was phenomenal. That was one of the best Supers.
I saw all 3 games. Arizona State was 2 innings away from sending Texas home early, and they let it get away. They were up 2-0 in the 5th inning, Lou, and then made an error to start that 5th inning and gave up 2 unearned runs. And the next thing you know, the Texas Longhorns figured out a way to win that one, and then they won going away in Game 3. Great teams figure it out, Lou, and the Longhorns did. They've been living kind of dangerously these last few years, but it hasn't really caught up to them. They always seem to end up in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, 3 straight. And again, the defending national champs. Cedric, you're there in Destin. SEC meetings. Things are wrapping up. Matter of fact, what Commissioner Sankey's meeting with the media in about 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, probably about 10 minutes. Sankey's coming up the stairs.
Okay.
This whole thing's been about the playoff, Lou. It's SEC versus Big Ten. And the SEC wants 16 teams, and the Big Ten wants 24 teams. The Big 12 wants 24. The ACC wants 24. I think Disney, ABC, Mickey, I think they want 16. And if the Mouse is aligned with the SEC, this is a real fight. But if the Mouse stays neutral in this, which I don't expect,
no chance.
I think the SEC might actually cave, and they're not the kind of conference that likes to cave. So they're meeting right now. He told us yesterday there's not going to be any kind of definitive decision on the playoff or anything like that. But that's been the big talk, along with how do you fix college sports with the NIL and the transfer portal. Money's running wild. There's no governance. There's no regulation. I'm glad kids are getting money, but they let the states handle it, and it's blown up in college football space.
Well, okay. In what universe can the Mouse, Disney, ABC, ESPN stay neutral? Because these total contracts are billions of dollars. They can't stay neutral.
You can't. The Mouse has $8 billion invested in college sports. So the Mouse is going to have to speak up sooner or later. And if the Mouse says it, that's going to carry a lot of weight. If the Mouse sides with the SEC, then the ACC and the Big Ten and the Big 12 are going to have to stand up and listen, because the Mouse is writing the checks. But if the Mouse says, I want 24 teams, then guess what? After 2026, we're going to have 24-team playoffs. Lou, we've talked about it for years on this show. I like 12 teams. I really like 16 teams. But you can't tell me that there are 24 teams that are capable of winning a national championship. The last thing I want to see is a watered-down first round of the playoff. It's not like those first-round games last year were entertaining. They were not. So I don't want more bad teams in the playoff.
No, but you know what? If we can cheat, and here's what I mean. I've talked about this before myself, but We don't. Okay, if we give the top teams a bye and have the bottom half of the playoff play each other, those games will be entertaining.
They will be, and more football is more football
Yep.
for us, and we love football. But we know that 13 playing 24. I don't think there's going to be a national semifinal team in any of those 11 teams, but or any of those 12 teams. It's still going to be good to see it happen if it happens, but I would rather do 16. I think 16, you don't really have a bad team in there. Everybody's going to be 9 or 3 or better. I don't want to see a 4 or 5 loss team in a college football playoff. Doesn't seem right.
I'm old school, and I guess that's just because, I'm getting older. I ain't saying I'm old, but older. I had no problem with exclusivity. I had no problem where you had to be elite. I know the boat sailed. I'm not railing to go backwards. I know you can never go backwards, but I never had an issue with having to be elite to play for the highest title in the land.
I love what Elko said on Tuesday. When did we become a participation trophy league? We're not a participation trophy sport. He goes, it's okay to not make the playoff. It's okay to go play in a bowl game. But you don't have to give everybody a bite at the apple. Let the best teams play for the best prize, and let's keep it moving. It's okay to go play at the Bluebonnet Bowl. It's okay to go play at the Conquest Bowl. But let the big dogs do the barking. And so for me, I'm fine with 12. 16 is fine. But after that, I think you're pushing it, and I think it's just a chase for more money. And if you're getting more money at the expense of bringing bad teams, and I'm not saying they're bad teams because they're going to be ranked, but non-championship teams into the fray, then you're going to water down the product, and that's the last thing we need to see.
Yeah, you're bringing mediocrity and parity into the conversation, and college football's never done that before. You used to have to be the elite of the elite. When it was 4 teams, okay, you had to be like a one-loss team minimum. You don't get more elite than that.
Yeah, and Sarkisian said that he wouldn't mind going back to 4 because it was kind of a clear-cut deal. And I don't have a problem with that, but they're never going to do that because they made so much money off of 12 last year. That was a tremendous success. So they're not going to go back to 4, but I'm fine if they stay at 12 for the next 5 or 6 years. Because the bad thing, you don't want to run up too much against the NFL because NFL versus college, that's no contest. So, you don't want to be bumping up against them too much. So I would say keep it at 12 and maybe even move up the schedule a little bit. The NCAA championship games, the conference title games aren't going anywhere. SEC title games up until 2031, so we can't even have that conversation. And they're not going to buy them out. And that championship game makes them money. So I'm thinking those are going to stay, but I would like to see them move it up and maybe leave it at 12. That works for me.
2 things, and I'll let you go because I know you got things are wrapping up there. One, what's the deal with Sark rolling back? He apologized for insulting basket weaving. I don't think he apologized for insulting Ole Miss. If I saw it correctly, he apologized for insulting basket weaving?
He did. He said he wished he had changed the major to something else. I'm like, come on, Sark. I know some nice basket weavers out there. They were not offended. Trust me. And if they're doing it for a living, they probably didn't go to college for it. So I don't think they were offended by that. He did walk it back a little bit. I kind of like it when you just leave it
Yep.
as an insult and let people like us talk about it. I thought it was good copy. And when are we ever going to stray away from a good copy or some good conversation, Luke? It worked for me.
That was the most attention the basket weaving community's had in 100 years.
You're right, man. You're right.
So he didn't have to apologize. And 2, Cedric, I know you got to go. And I wanted to say thank you. You come on to the Louis Bellina show. It's definitely something you don't got to do. You spend about 9 to 10 months with me. You know how much fun this is for me. I appreciate the knowledge. I appreciate the company. I appreciate the fun. And for the 8 people that hang out with me daily, they appreciate all you do for us. So thank you, brother.
Let me tell you, man. If I didn't love doing it, and if I didn't love you, I wouldn't do this. Because for us, it's not about the money. It's about the conversation, about the fun, about the camaraderie, talking sports for 20, 30 minutes once a week. It's a joy for me. Especially during football season when when we're breaking down what's about to happen in 2 days. It doesn't get much more fun than that. And I look forward to hooking back up this fall, my brother.
Yeah, people are always like, who's Cedric Golden?
He is an artist whose canvas is the printed page. A legendary wordsmith and scribe. The English language bows down to his powers. He is the Texas Sports Writer of the Year from the Austin-American Statesman, Cedric Golden.
And that's who Cedric is. Go be awesome, brother. Hey, if we're alive and we're all doing what we do come fall, let's do it again, all right?
Can't wait, brother. Take care, man. Have a good summer.
Yeah, you too. Take care of yourself. Be good, brother. Cedric Golden of the Austin-American Statesman on the D4 Land Services hotline. And again, come fall, we're all kicking around. Another season rolls up, and we're good. Man, we'll do it again. I love hanging out with Cedric. He joins us, like many guests do, on the D4 Land Services hotline. You're looking for forestry mulching, maybe pond construction. Heck, you need a metal building, a custom metal building from the ground up. Check out d4landservices.com. This is the Louis Bellina Show on The Zone.
Follow The Zone on Twitter X and get guest alerts for TexAgs Live and the Louis Bellina Show. Follow us on Twitter X. Zone 1150. Zone 1150.
Text message. Tag and Taylor. First, Cedric is always great. Yeah, he is. He's one of the best. And then Tag and Taylor goes, and I'm anti-playoff expansion. But if expanding, what's your thought on a 16-team field where 1 through 12 seeds get a bye and the 13 through 20 seeds play in to the last 4 seeds? Look, I'm in favor of something completely different, and it's simple. I want play-in games. Conference championship games go away, and instead it's play-in games. Because if you're going to do 16, which I think 16 is the correct number, and I know that the conferences want to de-emphasize the committee because the committee is awful and the committee's stupid and the committee is bad at what they do. And putting your fate in the committee's hands is foolish. And they want to do auto bids. Like the SEC would have 4 bids. The Big Ten would have 4 bids. The ACC would have 2. The Big 12 would have 2. And if you're good at math, which I'm not, that's 12. Notre Dame would have their automatic bid. They're 13. And the highest ranked G6 would be an automatic. That's 14 of the 16 college football playoff spots would already be claimed. See, there's inner details like that are not discussed. Go to 16, and 14 of the 16 spots are gone. All the committee would do is fill in 15, 16, and unfortunately then rank them because that would be a garbage show. But still, 14 of the 16 slots, the committee would not fill. They'll assign the order, but not fill. Now, what each conference does with their 4 auto bids is up to each conference. And I believe that, and I keep talking about this, and we'll see how it goes, but if you have 4 and you're the SEC, you can do first and second, have auto into the college football playoff. And then that leaves you 2 bids because you have 4. And 3 would play 6, and 4 would play 5. And you'd have 2 games on play-in weekend, not conference championship. And if the current conference championship game makes $90 million, would play-in games make $100 million, and you'd have 2 of them. And you double the money you make on that weekend. That's the thought process I have in my head. Because conference championships used to rock. But what's more tense than a play-in game for a college football spot? Like, currently, kind of thought to be the same thing because the conference champion, you think, will automatically, but look at the ACC, that wasn't true, should be true in the SEC. It's not guaranteed anything. Theoretically, it should, but it's not. But this would be a guaranteed playoff spot. And it would be 3 and 6 and 4 and 5. Now, all of a sudden, in the SEC, the top 6 teams are in the college football playoff conversation because 1, 2 get the auto buys, 3, 4, 5, 6 are playing for the last 2 spots. Same thing in the Big Ten. And the committee then, sure, they're seeding after they have the field, but they'd only be involved with 15, 16 at that point. And you would de-emphasize the committee. So that's how I think we do the field, personally. And I'm pretty sure about the Big Ten and the SEC wanting their auto bids. Both are just sick and tired of the committee and just the inconsistency, the lack of transparency, and they're just tired of their teams being subject to the stupidity of the committee. So there you go. That's what I think. You know, you said, what's your thoughts? That's kind of my thoughts on 16. 24 is problematic. The auto bids would be 6, 6. And once we're starting to get to 6, I think every time 24 comes up, everybody sees how absurd 24 kind of is, how it starts becoming a participation playoff, a participation everything, and that just doesn't feel right. 24 teams, because you can look at every top 25 and it starts getting kind of funny. 24 does mean 8 and 4 teams are going to go. And there's no 8 and 4 team that should play for the national championship. You can't say we got unlucky 4 times. We got jobbed by the referee 4 times. Like, there's no argument for it. A team has 6 automatic bids. 16 holds water as a playoff. 12 definitely. 24 is so bad. But this is about TV. A couple other things since we're talking about postseason, all this kind of stuff. Greg Sankey, he spoke yesterday, and I think he just started talking again today to wrap things up. He was asked yesterday and today too, just about the Big Ten catching up and the Big Ten being the premier conference. And he disagreed, as you'd imagine. He says just because they won 3 national titles in football, that those are pretty narrow band and the SEC still stands alone. A reporter asked him, why has the Big Ten moved past the SEC in football? And he goes, no, they've won, those national titles, and it's just the SEC is deeper and better, even if they're not winning the final game kind of thing. And the Big Ten has won 3 national titles for the second time since the debut of the AP poll. The last time the Big Ten's won 3 straight was 40, 41, and 42. The SEC has not made a national championship game in 3 seasons. The last time that happened was 99, 2000, 2001, 2002. And ESPN did some research. And until this stretch, there have been at least one SEC team in 16 of 17 national championship games from football. And that was 2006 to 2022. The only year that was a false statement, the only year there was not a team in the national championship for football, SEC team in the championship for football, was 2014. And I guess in my head, I'm trying to kind of figure it out. And is 1 year, is 3 years too small of a sample size? I know from my breeding, in my thought process, who wins the national championship, that's got like a exponential to the 20-fold more important than regular season wins. College baseball, the best conference was always determined by who won in Omaha. Always. So the whole thing about, but we're deeper, and that was always the battle cry of the teams that didn't win the national championship, not the teams that do. So I don't know. I think you go with the national champion, not, and who, the conferences that produce champions. And when we want to talk about which conference is superior, the Big Ten currently has the college football national champion, the men's basketball national champion, and the number 1 overall seed in baseball. That's a compelling argument. That's a pretty compelling argument. Now, do I believe this is going to last forever? I'll go back to something I said yesterday, but I'm not going to pound the microphone and the counter for an hour about it. I see the SEC keep making changes to be like everyone else. And when the SEC was its own animal, its own conference, well, they were elite, untouchable. So maybe make some decisions to go back to your own animal, and I would feel better about the future. SEC's not dying. There's not this tragic problem. Maybe with the changes, because the SEC was so far out in front of everyone. And I do mention that I thought that Alabama and Georgia were slow adapters to the changes with NIL and even portal because they didn't think they needed to. So maybe it's just a matter of the course correction that will come. So everyone just hold on for a second. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. This is the Louis Bellina Show, Thursday. This is the Louis Bellina Show presented by CC Electric on the Zone.
Your home for Texas A&M football is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone. The Zone.
Here is USC Baseball. A listen in.
You know, how you feel about your club going into this regional and just kind of how this last week's shaking out for you, getting ready for this weekend?
Yeah, we're excited to be here. You know, we feel like we're trending well. I think we're in a good spot. We're relatively healthy, and opportunity to come to College Station and compete and against 3 really good ball clubs from Texas is exciting. I think the guys are excited. I'm certainly excited, and so I think we're in a good spot. We're had a good couple work days back in Los Angeles and got in town last night, and so we're ready. We're ready to roll.
Mason, just Tony Catalina, 24/7 Sports. Just coming here to Texas and this opportunity. What's it mean for you and your guys now that you get a chance to kind of go play for a championship?
Yeah, I mean, coming here freshman year and going to Great Park for 2 years, and then that's quite an experience. And then having the field this year and being able to come to this atmosphere and play these types of teams, it's kind of everything you would dream for in your college baseball experience. So it's special. The things we've done this season, all of us are proud of it, and we're happy we've done what we've been able to do. But yeah, it's definitely special to be able to come out here and play against these teams in this atmosphere. It's special.
Second row on the left. Coach Mike Retail, College Baseball Central. This is the first time since 2001, 2002 that USC's been back-to-back regionals. Just talk about the importance of that for your program.
Well, I think it's certainly it's a good step. It means we're trending well. I mean, these 2 guys to my left here, Kevin and Mason, they've gone through a lot. I mean, when we first got here, we were in the Pac-12 and then we were in the Big Ten, and then we didn't have a field, and we were for 2 years we've been on the road, and a lot of guys left. A lot of guys decided to exit, and these 2 guys here, they chose to stay, and certainly I'm proud of them. Their willingness to kind of go through that transition period like they've done, and we feel like we've reaped some benefits of 2 years of being on the road, having our home field, and it's still not fully complete, but it's close. But I think that it's program's moving well. The train's moving well, and again, it's because of guys like Kevin and Mason who decided to stay in it and fight through it and committed to the program, and so we're excited about the future. But we're here now, and we're here to take care of business. And so, but we feel like we're moving in the right direction.
Rob, front right.
Rob Havens with Aggie Land Illustrated. Potential matchup with Texas A&M. Can I get all 3 of you guys' thoughts on the Aggies and if you face them, what do you look forward to?
We first year 1 we faced the Aggies in the tournament here in town in Texas. Big, physical, strong, athletic. well coached. I know Coach early from when I was at Grand Canyon. He was assistant there at Arizona State, so I'm familiar with him. I'm familiar with the job he's done, how well he's done here. And he certainly did a great job at ASU. And Coach Kelly as well. I've known his family a long time. So we're fully aware of our opposition if we get to play Texas A&M. But we know it'll be a favorable crowd and for them, but that's okay. That's part of the experience as well, get on the road. And so it's going to be exciting, and we know that it's been a great program for a number of years, and physical, strong athletes will have to play. We'll have to be at our best to be on that challenge.
Yeah, I think we're definitely just excited to be out here and play in front of a big crowd. We're excited for the opportunity. Obviously, we have Texas State tomorrow, so we're focused, one game at a time on them. But yeah, we're just really excited to play teams from Texas and show them our brand of baseball, and I think it's going to be a really competitive game. We're able to compete with the best in the country, so we're definitely excited for the opportunity, and we want to go out there and just kind of show who we are.
Texas A&M is obviously one of those programs I feel like you watch as a kid, like when you experience prime college baseball. Like those are the games, that you watch, and yeah, I mean it's important to us to be able to compete against the best, and when you think about the best, you think about these types of programs. So it's important to for us to come out here and give it our best fight, because yeah, like he said, we're going to need our best game to come out here and compete. So, but yeah, there's no doubt in my mind we're going to be able to compete with them, and just playing loose and free, and yeah, it's really cool to be able to come out here and play against them.
Next to Tony and Rich.
For Kevin and Mason, either one, both. Just what have you known about Olsen Field, just the environment in this stadium, and just what do you kind of expect from the fans and the so-called 12th man and Section 203?
Yeah, no, I think it's super cool, some of the traditions they have. We got a little bit of a taste of it when we played them at Globe Life my freshman year. So we've heard the Ball 5 chants, we heard some of the things that they do, and I think we're just really excited for the opportunity to be able to play in front of them and kind of show people what we can do, because we've played in environments, and obviously this is going to be a little bit more of a test for us just in the environment, but I think we're prepared for it, and we're definitely ready for the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, like he said, I'm also a junior, so I played against them my freshman year in that Globe Life series, but it's obviously a coordinated crowd. They have very unique tendencies compared to other atmospheres, and we definitely got a taste of that our freshman year, and it's a cool experience to be able to see that, and but we understand that's kind of their makeup, and it's going to be challenging to go and face that atmosphere, but it's also special, and it's motivating for our guys to be able to see we have this crowd, we have this type of team, it's going to be cool to be able to go out there and really compete against that.
Coach, Richard Zane with TexAgs, and with Mason headlining your pitching staff, what kind of luxury does the entire staff provide you in postseason baseball now, and also have you decided how you're going to line up your rotation this weekend? Yeah,
we'll go with Grant Gavell tomorrow, and then we'll just kind of go from there. We feel like he matches up really well against Texas State, and Texas State can hit, man. I mean, we see that. We looked at the video. They're physical, they're strong, they're like A&M, they're two, and then Lamar is probably more like us, just a little bit two different styles of play. And so yeah, I think that we got a nice 1-2 punch with obviously Mason and Grant, and then we've got Drew Johnson and Diego Velasquez kind of on that back end, and so we're kind of ready to maybe come out of the bullpen if we need him, or maybe start obviously if we get later in the weekend. So there's different options that we have, but we feel like the job that Mason has done and Grant has done for us is, if you look at those two, the big part of our success this year is because of those two guys starting games for us on a Friday and a Saturday, and so we feel like we got, like I said, a nice two-man up front to go at it, and then we'll go from there.
Mason, Kevin, you guys talked about a little bit, the environment of playing here, but you obviously had a realistic argument to host. Is there any extra chip on your shoulder for not being selected as a regional host and having to travel on the road for the regionals?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not sure how close we were, but I know we were kind of on, some of the front lines to, have an opportunity to host, and we didn't have it our last 2 years, obviously, but you know, when you kind of see things like that, it really gives you like kind of the retrospect of, okay, we can go out there and compete with any team in the country, and it doesn't matter if we're hosting or not. But yeah, we're not hosting, and I don't really think that matters to us as much. But it kind of just gives us more of the urge of like, okay, we're going to some other place. Let's go out there and show them what really we can do and why they should have maybe hosted us, or you know, whatever the circumstances might be. But yeah, knowing that we had the good chance to host, I think it was cool. You know, little disappointed that we didn't, but you know, being able to come out here and play in a regional, it's special too, and we're still motivated and ready to go.
Yeah, no, I think Mason touched on it really well. I think just it shows that, you know, we're a competitive team, and as much as it would be cool to, you know, host a regional at Dado for the first time at the new field, would have been really cool. But at the same time, like, we have a job to do right now, and you know, we're excited we played on the road. We have experience playing on the road, so I think we're just excited for the opportunity to go and play and compete to the best of our abilities.
That's one front right, Alex.
Question for Coach. I know you'd mentioned your relationship with Michael Early and Jason Kelly. I just wanted to ask if you could elaborate just what that relationship's entailed over the years, maybe professionally, as you guys have coached against one another.
Well, I've known Jason Kelly's family for a long time. His uncle Pat Kelly, professional baseball with the Expos, and obviously Casey, his cousin. I recruited Casey to come to ASU when I was at ASU, and so yeah, that relationship goes back pretty good length. Yeah, just a baseball family, real good one, respected by a lot of people, the right people. So I always respect Jason, and just because it's just a baseball family. You know, we just been through the wars together and seen a lot of things, and so. And then Coach Early, obviously, when he was at ASU with Coach Smith, when I was at Grand Canyon, and just saw young up-and-comer working hard, you know, developing his hitting with his guys over there, and just not too far from where I was in Phoenix. And so just respect, you know, just did it the right way and worked hard, and you know, just, and so it was just more of just like we played them, and they taught him how to hit really well. And so it's just so it doesn't surprise me at all that A&M's having success. And so we know we're up against it, and like I said, we still got it. You know, Lamar's good, and so is Texas State. So we got to stay on course, and we got to keep our eyes focused on who we got. And tomorrow we got Texas State, and then we'll go from there.
That was a listen in USC, the Trojans. Again, their regional College Station regional preview, and at 1:35 A&M. A regional preview. Michael Early, also Hakopian was out there, and a couple other Aggie baseball players too. We'll hear what A&M had to say as part of the College Station Regional Media Day 1:35. A listen in. Let's grab a quick timeout, come back, wrap up our lunch hour together. Lunchtime on the Louis Bellina Show, Monday through Friday, noon till 1 is thanks to Rudy's Barbecue.
Be part of the Louis Bellina Show.
They're fun.
Weekdays 11 to 2 on The Zone.
Tony in College Station said, love the idea of the playing games for the SEC auto bids. The problem is the teams 5 and 6 in the SEC would be front runners for the last two spots in a 16-team field, but the extra loss for the playing game could eliminate them from consideration. Every single format that's ever existed has the exact problem you're talking about. There's not a format that college basketball just expanded to 108 teams are getting in now. Teams 109 and 110 have a problem with that format. There is no system that is not going to have, what about the teams that are X and Y? I want to begin with that basic concept. If it's a 12-team field, 13, 14, 14-team field, 15, 16, if we take the top 4, if we take the top 2, it doesn't matter. That base concept is a flaw with every system ever created for the playoffs. Now, with this auto bid thing, I think you could take a look at the SEC standings over the past, oh my gosh, I don't know, 10 to 20 years. And the difference, and you're saying like 5 and 6. I'll bet you 5, 6, 7, 8 in the SEC are separated by a game. And you'd have to go back, take out bowls at most. They all don't play the same schedule because it's now 9. Some are 5 home, some are 5 road. We have the permanent rivals. There is no way, I think, to differentiate 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's all going to be the same team. So maybe you won't even want to play. I don't know. I think giving a team a chance to decide it for themselves, i.e. on the field, will always be better. Maybe everyone's going to die to be in the 7 slot and not risk it, but at least you get a chance to decide it on the field versus a committee. Give me my chance every day of the week. Let me decide my fate. Versus you're saying might cost them versus I control my fate. Let me control my fate every time. Matt in College Station said, the Blueprint, you are missing an awesome cross promote. No, it's too long. And Dale in Tabor said, howdy, Lou. Okay, what's with these 6 and 7, paragraph long? If it's over like a text message is quick. When you hit a paragraph, you can call me at 979-693-1150. You could talk to me on the D4 Land Services hotline. It's okay. People can talk to me. I know I'm scary. Ooh, Lou. But you can talk to me at 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. Once you hit that third sentence, you got a debate on your hand. 979-693-1150. All right, I'll take a timeout. Here's what's still to come. We got an hour left. Rusty Burson, Aggie historian and author on the D4 Land Services hotline. That's 1 o'clock straight up. And at 1:35, I got to listen in. Aggie baseball coach, early select players, met with the media. It's the College Station Regional today. We heard USC at 12:35. Aggie baseball will be at 1:35. That's what's up next. That's what's still ahead here on the Louis Bellina Show. Presented by CC Electric, Thursday, right here on The Zone. I'll be right back. Everybody relax.